So this is always anew. And the story kicks in immediately to say that, well, there's been meetings like this before. They've been, they're about a subject called non-duality. Let's just say this is, I've come here today. I've been to other meetings like this. I know this subject very well. I know what this is. I know what this sitting on a chair is. I know what breathing is. I know what life is. I know. And that held sense of knowing can become uncomfortable, so uncomfortable that a sort of seeking kicks in, a seeking for something that perhaps is other than all this knowing about what this is and what I am and what I can get and where I can go. And these sorts of conversations are like a kind of a delving into the mystery of just life without the story, or this without the explanation about what this is, what this could be, should be, would be, what would need to happen for it to be other, and any other story about this. This is plunging deep into the mystery of just ordinary sitting and breathing and the sound of a voice. Just this. Not something fantastical and other and further away, not something that can happen in, I don't know, when everything is right, when all the setting is right, when the moon balances upon the stars and the universe is totally aligned, and no, just plain old ordinary sitting, breathing, inexplicable, just this, where no story gets close, no explanation, no words, no anything gets close to this suddenness, this immediacy. But obviously, it can feel like there has to be an answer. It can feel like there has to be an end to the seeking. It can feel like that something will happen for all of this to be okay and for it to make sense for me. And I suppose what else, the other thing that's been illuminated is that which is seeking, or that which seeks to maybe drop away or whatever, liberation or whatever idea is sought after, is just what's happening, and that already there's no one in there doing the seeking, that there's just seeking, and so then no one will find, and that it really in the essence of this is the non-explanation for this, and that it's possible, let's just say, that the seeking can come to a stop, and what will be left is just exactly, totally, and completely what is. So, yeah, let's have a go and let's jump in together and see what happens.
Hey, Frank.
Hiya.
Hey, I guess I'll ask a question to end the quietness. Um, sometimes when I'm listening to speakers, and I don't mean you, but sometimes they'll say things are both real and unreal. And I know these are just concepts, but sometimes that produces a kind of confusion, like, what does that really mean? Or is it just that neither word, or it's just concepts and it doesn't really matter what you call it? So I'm just curious as to what you would say.
It's kind of like full and empty. I suppose real and unreal is that this is that life is full to the brim with whatever is. So whatever appears to be happening is that. And without the story, it's also empty and just nothing. And it's sort of like real and unreal is a way to describe it, but it's not for the felt feeling of something, appearing to happen, like a car hurtling towards, saying it's real and unreal sort of would confuse anyone, because it's apparently real, and then I suppose it's sort of just they're just words to suggest the emptiness and everything, but it's not an idea of emptiness, and it's not an idea of real and unreal. It's not. You see, that's when there's a kind of a lost in words, then everything then is taken that. Well, it doesn't feel like it's real and unreal for me, and so then it can't then be. I must be not getting this, but all words are just sounds. They're nothing at all. It's like thoughts or whatever. They're just absolutely nothing. So, and maybe the best then is just say it's full, or full as what is, or there's just what is, or there's just what is appearing to happen.
So if I sort of, I guess, conceptually think of it that way as what's appearing to happen, then maybe in the sense that, at least for me, the question of is it real or unreal sort of drops away, because it doesn't seem to matter at that point of trying to classify it.
Yeah. You see, no description comes close, and all there is just what appears to be. So now there's just the sound of a voice.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is, because I teach college classes, is that, and sometimes I'll sort of, the philosophy, because I teach philosophy, just sort of comes in there, or the sort of the non-dual stuff. And then some of the students will bring up, well, if you look at like the YouTube videos of the Holocaust, and some of that, and it's hard, and they'll say like, so yeah, one could say you're just sitting in a chair and just walking, and then there's this massive killing going on, and it's sort of, and everybody's like, it's hard to sort of reckon. It's not as simple. Well, at least what they'll say is it's not as simple as just walking, sitting in a chair when somebody is, getting gassed to death or something like that. I don't know, but I'm just curious as to how you would.
Well, if we were just to talk about immediately this, right? Immediately the sound of a voice and responding. And so there's a question about, well, there's definitely more going on, Frank.
Yeah.
And then you have to go into a story. So it's anything but this, right? Anything but this, just this talking. And it's to tell a story. And it's not that, but that doesn't diminish anything, make it bigger or smaller by saying it's just a story, but it's sort of a movement from just ordinary, the phenomenality of this, of talking, to a story about, but what about X and Y? What about car crashes and volcanoes and horrendous atrocities committed by humanity? And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And it's always just trying to fit this some way into some sort of box, so then I can know it. So it can't be just sitting and breathing. And I think it seems to be there's something in operating the system who knows that there's a world and there's apparently someone who can know it. That movement just seems to continuously happen. Sure, there has to be more than this. It's not just sitting and talking. And it's the return of these sorts of conversations or sharings is the return to the inexplicableness of what is. That's already inexplicable. This unfathomable falling, free fall, or whatever you want to call it, this, and or just what is. So then trying to some kind of put a story around, it's all just storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be a case of, for example, if somebody was being attacked, it wouldn't be then a situation whereby there'd be a once removed state where somebody can go, oh, attacking is appearing to happen now. No, there'd be whatever reaction, there'd be whatever defense or whatever, that would be fully what is. So now this is a sort of arising curiosity or arising, let's say, happening, this meeting, and it's energy or nothing as appearing as a meeting, right? So then you could say gas chambers is nothing, or life as horrendous atrocities. But it's nothing as that. It would be it's not a denial of anything. It would be, that would be what is, if this, if that was happening. But and this is just simply ordinary sitting, breathing, talking, and a conversation appearing to happen about this. But all the while, it's just what is appearing. It's that is to say, it's this. So, I mean, we could pontificate till the cows come home. We could talk about how a petal appears to grow on the stem of a flower, and spring is here, and there'll be blossoming. We could talk about how the grass is starting to grow longer, and it's going to have to be cut. We could, and how phenomenal and outrageous that is, and how inexplicable this voice appearing to talk. We could talk about that, how that is unfathomable. But the mystery is not all sweet and roses, it would seem. It's not. You can't exactly confine or define it in any way. But all there is now, is somehow talking, nothing asking a question, and a sort of a thump thump.
Yeah. So in a way, at least from the way you communicated that, there's like, I didn't know, it's like there's really no difference in a sense. There's no really better or worse, or it's just sort of what's happening, and then just stop there.
Well, I mean, there's no, there's just appearing to talk now. So there isn't, there doesn't have to be suddenly, oh, well, that's it, surmised. It's as talking. It is as this, and so that's this freedom that almost it's just a communication happening. Normally, there would be some discussion, a point here to be made, but there's no way to iron this down or make it into a nice little box. No way to say, well, what it is and what it isn't. So it's everything and nothing, or nothing and everything. But does that cut it? It's not an image of nothing and an image of everything. It's not like, if it could be nailed down as something, or it could be philosophized about and again cornered off, it would then be knowable.
Right.
So this is beyond any idea of philosophy, but yet this appears as philosophizing.
Yeah.
And so the mystery, the mystery is sitting and talking, and just the sound of a voice, no. And so all the while there's that movement towards it would seem, trying to define it into something, then it's other than, I suppose, as opposed to as just that question. So the ordinariness or the mystery is asking that question and the response, and so the other it is just what is. So it's energy as talking, and energy as the cars going, and as the petals and the flowers and the grass and atrocities. And it's not that one is better than the other, but judgments appear to arise about everything. Mm-hmm. That's also just arising. It's this, though. It's arising suddenly as a judgment about X, Y, and Z. So the problem is, it's like a wheel constantly spinning and turning and spinning and turning, and the wheel is wanting to talk about the wheel spinning and turning, but that's also the wheel spinning and turning. So that is to say, just that it's this. It's saying it's this. Mm-hmm. So that I could clap a hand, and all the explanations then, all the stories arise, all everything about what it is, what it could be, how it should be, how it's like a certain way, and it shouldn't be like that, and it should be like something else, and good and bad, up and down. They all those explanations seem, it's like trying to make it some way stickable. Something seems to be that then that arising movement to name this in every single way seems to just happen continuously, but not a word touches this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's in a way, it's like an explanation must be given for X and Y over there, whatever that X and Y is, some sort of explanation. But the explanation for just the sound of a voice doesn't seem to need to be given. It should be that there's a point being made, as opposed to just this. This is not explainable as much as that is not explainable. And yet a story can be told. The story told about this immediacy is that while it's sitting and breathing and talking, that's supposed to kind of ground this in some sort of, it's 8 o'clock, it's a Thursday night. That's supposed to ground this. And likewise with anything else. It's just that no story of any kind comes close. And yet it appears as stories.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as you're talking, it's almost like is there like a noticing of my mind, or, trying to almost like box it in somewhere or grasp it or put it in a corner. You know what I mean? It's almost like I could feel it, like it's almost like trying to do something with it. It's like a grasping. I can almost feel it.
And yet you can't grasp the attempt to grasp.
Yeah.
So you can't catching, and you can't hold on to your attempt to want to hold on to this or know this. It's just then what's appearing to happen. So you can't like fall out of this or be separated from this. It's enveloping as every cell, every sound, every thought, even the shit ones, even those ones banging in there, even those ones about wanting to know it. It's as that then. And it's nothing wrong, even except there can be that arising feeling that it's wrong. Something's wrong, but that also would be this. You can't escape it or run from it, but trying to run and escape is also this. You can't know it or have it, but yet it is as wanting to know and have. You fucking can't breathe and not breathe, but breathing appears to happen. And even apparently trying not to breathe appears to happen also. You can't get in or get out. You can't escape. all there is just what there is, however that is, including everything.
It's like being checkmated. It's like checkmating chess. You can't move. Whatever you do.
Well, yeah. Yeah. You can't do anything, but doing things appears to happen. You could have, you can't come, or you can't choose sentences, but sentences appear to be said, just like that checkmate, just thump, checkmate, just happening. Don't fucking tell me it's ordinary, the way I am, the way I appear to be, the way everything. Don't, Frank. Don't tell me it's this. It's this. This is that nothing happening as the sound of a voice, as sitting, breathing, feelings. And it's wonderfully, stunningly, beautifully, horribly, not just difficult, but utterly impossible, because it's as whatever is. So questions can appear, can arise, or can be full as juicy silence. And you can't have silence. You can't have nothing. But perhaps nothing could have you if you were. Have a lovely evening. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Adieu.
Bye.
See you later.